Hey guys, welcome back to Britton Farms Homestead. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm April and this is Britton Farms Homestead. Thanks for showing up. Today I'm just gonna kind of go over what we've got going on here on the farm. I've been lacking on videos because we've been very busy. We've been trying to get a foundation done for our house, and we've got new animals on the farm, and working a full-time job, and in the summertime it's just really busy. And we're gonna walk through the garden today. So now let's do a garden update. There's a lot going on. So this is a small garden, and we have turnips, peppers, pintos, jalapeno peppers, and cayenne pepper. And I think that's all that's in this garden. My dad planted this garden all by himself. He takes care of it all by himself. But these are the turnips. These are the jalapenos. The cayenne peppers are over there. These are blueberry bushes that he planted in the middle of his garden. I don't know. His garden, whatever. And here's pintos. But we have blackberries, tons of them. Tons and tons and tons of blackberries. Now, we're gonna need some rain because we have not had rain in a couple of weeks. And it's kind of a drought. Look there, those old Japanese beetles. We do have Japanese beetles this year. They're not as bad as they usually are, or this wouldn't have a leaf on it. And as you can see, they're just nibbling here and there. But this is the tamed blackberry here. And we've got our blueberry bush here that we just picked blueberries off of it yesterday. We had blueberry pancakes this morning. There's some more there. I don't think we're gonna have enough for a pie off our blueberries this year. We did have 2 bushes. One of them died. We bought 3 more. My dad's planting them in the middle of his garden. And this one. So no pies this year, but we can have blueberry pancakes. And we're gonna have plenty of blackberries, along with all the wild blackberries that we pick every year. So let's go over to the big garden. As we go to the big garden, we'll pass these fruit trees here. And the Japanese beetles have done a number on the leaves on this fruit tree, but it's loaded down with apples. Our trees on the mountain, as if you've been watching, you know we're building a house on the mountain. On our property, we have fruit trees and over 100 blackberry bushes. None of the blackberries will put off this year. They should put off next year. And we do have some peaches and some apples on the mountain, but they're just tiny trees, so it won't be a lot. But here we have a lot of apples. A lot of apples. So I hope everything goes well with those so we can get jelly and pies and pie fillings and all that good stuff. And then we have a peach tree. And one of them's doing better than the other, but one of them's older than the other. So this one has peaches on it. And I don't know if you can see the ones up there, but it has several peaches on it. And it's supposed to rain today, and I sure hope it does. But it has several peaches on it, as you can see. And then we'll go look at the other peach tree. Here's the other peach tree. And it's loaded down also. But it is a very young tree, and these peaches are already starting to turn. I don't know why. I hope they're going to get bigger than this, but who knows? But the older peach tree, it has peaches on it about the same size, but they're not turning at all. They're still green. All right, here is my trellis of cucumbers. Remember, if you watched, I showed you how to save space make a trellis, plant radishes in the middle. Radishes are gonna come harvest time before these would ever grow up and cover the top. So that's what these are, is our cucumbers. And I can't wait to make some pickles. These are Brussels sprouts. I do know that I'm probably not going to get anything off of those Brussels sprouts because it's just too flippin' hot. And I'm going to try to grow some this winter, but somebody gave me those, so I just planted them. They also gave me this red or purple cabbage here. Seems to be doing okay. And if you watch my tomato video about spraying with neem oil and aspirin, that's what this has had on it. You can see it has very few holes where something has eaten it, which is great. Neem oil and aspirin is great for your plant. If you didn't watch the video, aspirin, you can crush up a 250 milligram aspirin, put it in a gallon of water with an ounce of neem oil, shake it up, spray it on your plant. The aspirin produces the same acid that a plant's immune system does if they're being attacked by a disease. And if you spray it on there, it kicks their immune system into high gear. So when they do come across a disease or they're exposed to it, or a bug, you have a bug infestation, it helps them fight that off and stay alive longer while you can take care of the pests. So I 100% believe in neem oil and aspirin. It works out well. I spray it about every time it rains. I haven't had to spray in a while because it hasn't rained in 2 weeks. So anyway, we also have cucumbers planted here now in the middle. We have cucumbers on this side. One side is a pickling cucumber. The other side is a straight 8. It's like a salad cucumber. So what else do we have? We have eggplant. Look at those pretty flowers. And we have another eggplant. We have broccoli. And we just mowed this here in the middle because there's nothing planted here or here. We're going to plant more corn and more okra. We're going to turn it up, but we're not messing with that today. And more broccoli. I got a little head of broccoli down in there. All of these have been sprayed with neem oil and aspirin. And this is all broccoli. This is broccoli. I can't wait to get that and eat that. First time ever growing eggplant or broccoli. So I'm kind of excited about something new in the garden. I try to grow something new every year. And this is my first year doing eggplant and broccoli. And I'm pretty excited that it's, you know, working out. This is eggplant. This is eggplant. This is eggplant. Eggplant, eggplant. And then these are our squash, which were planted really, really late. Hopefully they'll make something. I don't know. And there's one. Here's one, here's one, here's one. They're just down through there. And I weeded around them, but I didn't weed all this. Just because I was short on time, and that's the way it goes. And then we have corn and green beans and potatoes. I planted potatoes in the ground. I'm hoping to get 50 pounds of potatoes this year so I can go to level 3 in Shed Wars. That was what I had to do to be a level 3. I was a level 2 last year, or I became a level 2. So I'm hoping to be a level 3 this year. We'll see. And then we have some okra that's in this mess somewhere. Oh, I can see it now. This is our okra right here. And it needs to be cleaned and weeded around tremendously. We have a big problem with morning glories. And I mean a crazy problem with morning glories. But anyway, this is our okra right here. It's a whole row of it that needs to be cleaned out. And I will get to it. I just have not had time. But that's our okra, and there's a whole row of it that needs to be cleaned out. And our potatoes have just about played out. Some more okra. And it's about to bloom. And here's my potatoes. They have just about played out, it looks like. And it should have kept on growing till fall. But like I said, it hasn't rained in 2 weeks. We can do some watering, but we don't do a lot. We just don't. So if those potatoes bring 50 pounds, they bring 50 pounds. If they don't, they don't. What little we do water are tomatoes, or cucumbers, those eggplants, and the broccoli. And we only water about once a week, and it is what it is. It's just, it's too much for us. And we have corn here, and our corn is looking well. See if we can't get some of those pollinated. Pollinate corn, pollinate. So I'll also tell you something about corn if you didn't know it. These silks on the corn represent a kernel of corn on the cob. So to pollinate this corn to make a kernel on the cob, pollen needs to get on these to pollinate it. And for everyone that's pollinated, a kernel of corn will come on this cob. So that's what these are for. I will let you know that if you have Japanese beetles, very bad. They will eat the silks off the corn, and you'll have a horrible crop of corn because your silks aren't sticking out of the shuck for it to be pollinated. So if you have Japanese beetles really bad and you don't want to use any harsh or bad chemicals, I would suggest using a beetle trap. They work out well, but if you just have a few here and there, just get soapy water, pick them off, throw them in the soapy water, it kills them. But if you have an infestation, the traps are the best. So we have more red cabbage, and I was going to plant potatoes in these pools, but Vince went and got dirt and put in here, but it wouldn't topsoil. It is hard as a rock, and it's just junk, and we haven't had time to get that stuff out of there. So no potatoes in the pools this year. But this is a row of peppers that go all the way down. They're all different kinds. We have bell peppers, jalapenos, big gem, sweet pepper, banana pepper, just a habanero, chili pepper. We have a lot. And this is tomato row. These tomatoes on this end do not look well at all. I believe they need some fertilizer. I think that's their problem. Although they are clustering up big clusters of tomatoes. And as you see, we have them on a cattle panel because you don't want your tomatoes laying on the ground. But they're not doing very well. And we have not fertilized these tomatoes in any way. We prepped the soil last year we cleaned out the chicken coop and we cleaned out the goat stalls, and we prepped the soil, turned it in, and that's it. We have not used any fertilizer on these at all. But anyway, on this end, they look way better, and I'm assuming this soil down here got more turned in or got more manure on it. But you can tell a big difference from just the plants. So here are the plants. They're also on cattle panels. And as you can see, they're growing over the top of the cattle panels. And they are also loaded with tomatoes. Just tomatoes everywhere. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. And because we haven't had a lot of rain, this happens. But unless I water it every day, there's really nothing I can do about this. I don't have drip lines. It takes about 1 hour and 45 minutes to water everything. So it just doesn't get done but once a week, and it is what it is. But as you can see, we have a lot of tomatoes. But it is supposed to rain today, so we will see. All right, and we have a little tomato down here, or a bigger tomato that's starting to turn. And I found something else. I found blossom end rot, guys. If you don't know what blossom end rot is, it's this right here. That tomato rotted because this plant is not getting enough calcium. We're gonna pull these off and give them to the chickens, but this is what blossom end rot is. I'll also put a card up here to tell you how to prevent this. I don't have it on any other plant that I've seen, just this one. So when I treated for blossom end rot, I'm assuming I either missed this plant or I didn't give it enough of what it needed, which would be calcium and Epsom salts is what I use. But I'll put a link in it to tell you all about those household things that you probably have in your house to help your tomatoes with any disease that you might run across. But here's the rest of the tomatoes. Sorry, the chicken is a jerk, or rooster is a jerk. And we have one here I need to tie up because it's hanging on the ground, and that's not what you want. I have some more there that's turning. Looking good, looking good. But we're gonna have a ton of tomatoes this year. There's another that's turned. It's a big fat boy. But this is the tomatoes, tomato row. There's some more that's turning. It won't be long and we will have tomatoes, tomatoes, and more tomatoes. So as much as we need to rain, I really, really want it to rain. There's one thing that scares me, is that when your tomatoes, when your tomatoes split, yeah, you enjoy that? That's all I got. Sometimes you may see that your tomatoes split, they get big and then they split. Well, you can still eat them if you get them off the vine immediately. They're not pretty, but you can still eat them. That is caused because of inconsistent watering. And because I water once a week, that's pretty consistent that I water once a week. But when it comes to rain and it rains all night long, that's inconsistent with the way I water once a week, because of course I'm not running water on the tomato or drip line all night long. So what possibly could happen if we get a good rain today, which I hope we do, is that my tomatoes start splitting. I'll just have to pull them off the vine at that point and use them immediately for something, whether I can something with them, I eat them fresh right then, whatever. They're not very pretty, like I said, but you can still eat them. But anyway, that is my video on the garden update. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. God bless you all.